welcome back here where it flips Barbershop on Real Sports Talk today. And I will tell you, it's been a big week last week. We're always glad to be here, glad that you're here. Please take an opportunity to post some questions you may have. We'll gladly answer those. We always appreciate the folks listening, tuning in to us. And it's kind of a sad week for a lot of us because, you know, football season on the Super Bowl week. After that, it's a long, dry season, and we got to switch to some other sports, and we're going to talk about some of those today. So, but, you know, I think that it's kind of like a Black Monday after Super Bowl Sunday because after that game, all the hype's gone, all the excitement's gone. But we're going to talk a little bit about that right out of the gates. So the Super Bowl, and congratulations again to the Kansas City Chiefs. I will tell you, I was on the Niners bandwagon for a couple other reasons. Their general manager is the Tampa Bay Bucks, so, you know, I'm pulling for them a little bit. And I'd like to see CMC get a Super Bowl ring too. That game was a little crazy, though. I think that the Niners let it slip through their fingers. Kudos to the Chiefs. They find a way to win. They do this. They do that. You know, and I've heard all that stuff. I heard, you know, no the referees don't call no penalties on the Chiefs. They don't do. I heard all of it. But the Chiefs did what they had to do to win. And I will say that, you know, even though it's hard to believe that the last three playoff games, this is a good stat for you. The last three playoff games, the offensive line of the Chiefs had 0 penalties. Man, so can you imagine how good they got to be to play 3 games and not hold nobody?
Pretty damn good.
yeah, or pretty something. Yeah. I don't know, but I ain't going there because I think they earned it and they deserve it. And I will tell you, they can love him or hate him, but Mahomes makes it happen. He's got a lot of players around him. But this year, I think they had to work the hardest of all. If you think about mid-season, the Chiefs were not in a good place. They were struggling to get it together. But I tell you, when they lasered in, they really got focused and started playing. So was that because they got better? Or was it it just took a little while for them to gel? I don't know what the answer is, but they got the ring, and that's all I know. And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that. So I don't know. I don't know what made it, but they definitely picked up the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
2 games in a row. They really had to battle in that second half. And in that second half, the Niners just didn't show up. I mean, at the end of the day, they just didn't show up offensively in the second half. And to me, that was the tale of the tales. And it is what it is. But kudos, again, to them. I think the Niners will be right back in the mix of things next year. They got a very strong team. I'm sure they'll do well with the drafts and all those things. But football season is over. So now the very next thing we're going to look for is who's drafting who.
Yeah.
And who's coming out of college and who's trading for who. So the one of the things I like about the NFL is the landscape changes every year. You got some steadfast names that you know are going to be here or there, but there's some big names every year that switch and move from one place to the other. Free agency is it's a real thing in contract space, and you know, it can change a lot of dynamics. I will say that a local guy, we like to talk about our local folks, Kyle Duggar, free safety for New England Patriots, one of our own Lenore Ryan Bears here.
All right.
I know
Come on now.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I know that he is I spoke to his agent the other day, and he said he is in contract negotiations. He does have one offer out there. I won't go into any details because it ain't really none of my business. But I don't know if he'll end up back with the Patriots. But I know that if my Buccaneers do not sign Winfield, we're going to need a safety. And I'd be all about him going down to Tampa. It's a whole lot better weather than New England. So if you're out there listening, Kyle Duggar, then you need to just think about that a little bit. So
put it out there, man. Put it out there.
Hey, we need it. We need it. I'm just pleased that where other people are disappointed, I'm just pleased that my team actually made the playoffs. I would never. I'd have lost that bet in the early parts of the season with all the things that they did lose. But they
And
stepped
and
it up.
going back to the Super Bowl, you was right. It was a close game. It was close.
I'll tell
And
you how right I was. So
yeah.
you don't, you got these bracket pools, the blocks, and all
Uh-huh.
that stuff. You don't get to pick the numbers. Somebody picks
Mm.
them for you, and I'm typically not a very lucky guy about that. So which numbers do you think are the worst numbers to have on that board?
Man, what? 3,
No, three's a field goal. You can get that.
7.
Seven's a touchdown. You can get that. The numbers that nobody wants are 2 and 5.
Ah.
So you never see anybody with 22 points or 32 or that kind of thing. But just so happens that's what the winning numbers were for the fourth and final quarter or the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's really because they missed that extra point.
Yeah. I think Dent was pretty close on the score too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And
with Casey,
he
yeah.
was. And
Yeah.
I had the other way, but I had 5 and 2 on the bracket, so I won that.
Yeah,
So that's the only good
it's
thing
all about the
that.
winning, right?
Hey, that's right. Live to play another day.
Yeah, now you
So-
put some good tips out there, y'all. So y'all listen up now.
So listen,
yeah.
there's
that
a
was
difference
good.
between knowledge and gambling. It's a different thing. It ain't you don't go with your heart. You go with what you think is going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that. So I got a lot of friends that play golf, and I tell them all the time they're golfers. I'm a gambler. I'm not a golfer in any
I
way,
know that's
shape, or
right.
form. So
Yeah.
hey, we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a little college basketball. That's starting to pick up its pace a little bit, and there's some debates out there in the NBA. It's starting to kind of heat up a little bit.
Mm.
Finally got out of that in-season tournament crap, which I don't think anybody was crazy about. Some people liked it, some people don't. But we'll talk about the NBA, who's playing well, who's not. And then in addition to that, our question of the day is going to be, who is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Come on.
I hear it all the time
Come
on
on
Facebook, everywhere. We got to talk about that. So, hey, we're going to
Yeah.
come back in a minute, take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Rips Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Subscribe today.
Hey, we're back on the flip side here at Flip's Barbershop. Still finishing up a little football talk today. We talked about the kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champs, and we talked about that game just a little bit. I would say I think it would be we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge some of the events within the last 24 hours. As you know, anytime a team of any sport wins a championship, the team's home city likes to honor them, and they have events. And yesterday, Kansas City Chiefs were having a Super Bowl celebration, and unfortunately, there was a shooting event in Kansas City. I'll just give you a
Yeah.
little news. First of all, our hearts, love, and prayer go to all those folks. I know that there was at least one death and more than a couple dozen other people injured, including several children, young people in that. The Kansas City authorities said on Thursday that they were keeping 2 teenagers in custody after
Wow.
shooting that tore through the city Super Bowl celebration, killing one person, wounding 2 dozen folks along with that.
That's crazy.
It is
It's
crazy. The world we
Yeah.
live in is crazy, and I will tell you, the old folks that you grow up with, they used to say, "What in the world? What is the world coming to?" It ain't coming to. It's here. Like it's all the time.
Boy, you said it,
You
man.
hear it all the time. It's
Yeah,
not
you said
coming. It is absolutely
Yeah.
here, and they did bring 3 folks in, teenagers, and release one, so they have 2 still in custody. They are working with a juvenile prosecutor, which tells me that they are under the age of 16, I'm guessing. But again, one fatality, over 20 to 24 injuries from that.
Crazy.
It's sad. It's crazy, and I don't even understand that. And I'm not saying that our communities are better than any others, but I am so thankful that we don't have that, nor do I want it here. But when teenagers are out there in a mass shooting, and I don't know what the details are yet. I'm sure that they'll be coming out in the coming days. I don't know that if it was a shootout for that purpose. It sounds like it was something between two different groups, maybe, but I don't know that. But I do know that the whole country should be deeply saddened that an event like that takes place, especially for a sporting celebration. I don't know of any reason why that would be a good one for that, but I don't even understand it. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it. But prayers, love, and support for the Kansas City community, and especially those families who have been affected
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah. I know it was a lot of them, man. Just thinking about all those kids and the families that was there, man. It's just crazy. It's hard to fathom.
Yeah, and you know, it's crazy when you're there to be happy, be celebrating. You have no inclination whatsoever that something like that's about to take place.
No, no.
But I will
Yeah.
tell you, slowly but surely, as a nation, we are uh, allowing it to creep into our heads that when you come out of your home, you
Yeah.
need to have your head on a swivel and be paying attention to everything, everyone, and everywhere, because you don't know, and that's sad to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to go out in public and not have to worry about
No.
those kind of events. Again, there was thousands of folks in downtown Kansas City, and suddenly it went to chaos. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine the chaos of hearing those shots and hearing the screams and those things like that. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I went through something like that. We were at it was a Thanksgiving game, Turkey Day game back in New Jersey,
Yep.
and it was two groups of people that were shooting against each other.
Yeah.
Two motorcycle gangs, two rival motorcycle gangs.
It's
Just
crazy.
came out there, and fortunately, this was before the automatic weapons and
Yeah,
things like that.
and I will tell you,
But,
those things happen,
yeah,
and I don't wish this on anybody.
me neither.
But if there's
man.
two gangs that want to shoot each other, go get in a parking lot out in the middle of nowhere and
Come
line
on.
up and shoot each other all you want. But the innocent people who were affected or hit by that is unbelievable. And it really is. And I don't have that experience, but I have this. A couple of years back at University of North Carolina, Charlotte,
Mhm.
they had a live shooter, an active shooter. And so my child, both of my kids went to UNCC. So the school has a notification that you can sign up for as a parent to
Mhm.
tell you if something's going on. You can be aware, blah, blah, blah. So the building that happened in, my daughter was in that building. And
Wow.
so I'm in a meeting at work, and on my phone, it pops up on the phone, active shooter in building.
Scariest thing you could ever see.
What? I just got cold chills, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
let me tell you what the last thing it says: run, hide, fight.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I mean, so basically, fight for your life. There's a live shooter in your building, and without the ability to get in contact with my child, like think about your kid and you getting that text.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
And I'm
yeah.
not asking for sympathy. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I never expected when I sent my kids to college that I would have to worry about that or deal with that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, the world has changed, and that's what we do have to worry about and deal about.
Yeah, man.
Thank God that she wasn't in the line of fire or hurt, and that she was completely safe. But again, prayers for the folks who lose
Yeah.
loved ones in those situations. It's just not what is right in our world, and that's why I tell people every day, man, learn to live your neighbor.
Yeah, man.
Listen, you might like the Eagles and I might like the Bucks, but we ain't gotta shoot nobody
Yeah,
ever. I
yeah. Come
mean,
on,
listen,
man.
I mean, it ain't that important. I don't
Man.
think that there's a respect for the sanctity of life. I
Mm,
think people wave that off like it's no big thing, but
yeah.
it is. It's the biggest thing.
Man, these guns are so easily accessible, man. It's just crazy, you know. It's not. And I'm not
So,
talking
so
about the ones you can go to the store and get. I'm just talking
not
about the
so
ones on the
so.
street.
I don't imagine and can't imagine on the street part. I could probably see that happen. I don't understand how, when, why, any of those things. If you have children, how they have access to those
Yes,
guns.
yeah, man.
And I think that that's a big part of that is lack of parenting.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a lady that just got convicted last week. She got convicted as the mother of an active shooter,
Mm-hmm.
and she got convicted for ignoring those signs. And so
Wow.
it's just crazy. Again, I didn't mean to take up all our time on that subject,
Yeah,
but I will tell you, we got to do our part to change this world and get away from that.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
uh, I travel a lot, and one of my favorite places to go, and it's not really because they got beautiful beaches or sand or pretty blue water. I don't know if you ever been to Jamaica, DJ Free, but my
Planning
favorite
on
thing
it.
about
Yeah,
Jamaica is everything there screams one love.
yeah,
It doesn't matter about your color, don't matter
yeah.
about your religion, it doesn't
I
matter
gotta
what
see that
size
Bob
house.
Marley thing, the
Bob Marley,
movie too,
man,
man.
yeah,
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 one love. Yeah,
there's a great movie. Have you seen that
yeah,
coming out now?
yeah. It's coming out now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it may be in theaters if I'm not mistaken,
Or it
but
might be on your Fire Stick already.
yeah,
You
yeah.
never know.
Come on
I
now.
mean, you
Yeah,
never know. But
yeah,
so they're big on Bob Marley. I went to see where he grew up and all that stuff. But
yeah,
I will tell you that I just love it. Like, I mean, I love the fact that
yeah.
that's a really easy theme to understand. One, we all on the same earth,
Mm,
and at the end of the day, it don't matter if you're black, white,
right.
green, yellow, purple. It don't matter what
You
your
know
bank account's got in it, what size
who you
house you got,
worship, where
who
you
you worship, what
go.
your car is.
Yeah,
I know what I believe, and I'm
right.
good with it.
I'm good with
Whatever
that.
you believe, I pray for you just as much as I would pray for anybody.
That's right.
Everybody's got that right in their opinion. I believe mine, and I don't have to hate you just because you're disagreeing with
That's
what
right.
I believe in.
That's
It's
right.
just erase the hate, man.
Yeah.
Let's get on with life.
Yeah.
One love. All right,
Yeah, man. All right, left for that. All
yeah,
right,
that's
let's get
enough.
back to
We're gonna
sports,
take
yeah.
another quick break,
Uh-huh.
and then right after that, we're gonna jump into some basketball and the theme and the question of today:
All
who's
right.
the best NBA basketball player?
I love it.
Coming back,
Y'all
coming
hear
back in the
that?
barbershop. Be ready for it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be big. We'll be back on the flip side right after this.
G.O.A.T Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Subscribe today.
Hey, we're back. We're back now. We're going to talk a little basketball. And before we get into the college basketball and all the NBA basketball, our question of the day today is, I've seen it all over Facebook. I see it on ESPN. I see it on commercials. I see it in barbershops. Who is the greatest NBA player of all time? So we're going to take a little walk around the barbershop, and we're going to see, the debate is LeBron, Bron, or MJ, Michael Jordan. But there might be some other names that pop in there, but we're going to find out right now. Let's get this party started. All right, here we go. So today we're going to talk about the greatest NBA player of all time. I said this earlier. This week I read where one of the greats for sure in his era for sure, and I love watching him play, was Julius Erving, Dr. J, a.k.a. Dr. J. I don't know what the beef is, but he made his top five of all the NBA greats, and Michael Jordan was not in that top five. I don't know if he just stayed in his era because they paved the way, and they truly did. They broke down the door and kicked the door down. I mean, it was crazy. My favorite era of basketball was back in those days. I mean, I think anybody, whatever era you grew up in, that's what you're going to think. But I was extremely surprised that Michael Jordan wasn't on his all-time great list in his top five. So we're going to go around the room right quick, and we're going to talk about It might not be any of them players. You might think of somebody else that's pretty good. I mean, I know a couple that I'm impressed with too, but we're going to talk about that. I'm going to come back because I don't want to mess up my man's haircut over here. So we're going to start off, tell them who you are and who do you think is the greatest NBA player of all time, and tell me why.
I'm going to say, I'm Ryan Colbert. I'm from Newton, North Carolina. I'm going to say one of the greatest, the greatest to me is Michael Jordan. I lived in his era. I watched him play all his career, from Carolina all the way up. So I'm gonna say, he's got to be in my top 5. Yeah, right.
All right, so we got a Jordan. We got a Michael Jordan. Y'all going to get some good entertainment right here and a lot of knowledge. So don't blink and don't walk away from the screen.
Brian Klein. I'm from all over Catawba County. But I'm going to tell you, Michael Jordan, number one. They didn't have to build chemistry back in the day. These boys these days, they got to build teams. They got to do this. They got to do that. It's a soap opera. They didn't have to, back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, we didn't need that. Pistons, Chicago, the Celtics.
And they stayed with the same thing.
They stayed with the same thing.
You can't get no chemistry when you go one team one year, one team next.
Hey, what Tom Brown tell them a long time ago? Hey, we play with who we come with.
That's right.
We play with who we come with.
What we got.
That's right.
Michael
and I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Take a look at that young man right there. Look at there. That's what it's all about right there. That's what it's all about. And them pythons.
Let me get him right quick before he starts getting a haircut. So the question of today is, who's the greatest NBA player of all time? I feel like I got a pretty good guess when you walked in here. Tell them who it is.
Michael Jordan.
Jordan. Hey, it's Jordan might make a sweep, but we're about to go to a young gun. You know, he didn't grow up with Jordan, so we're gonna see what young guns got right here. Tell it.
I got to go with LeBron because I didn't grow up in that era to watch Michael Jordan. I know he was good, but I'm a LeBron fan.
So you're a LeBron fan, but what about LeBron right now makes him the best in your era?
He can do it all. I mean, he does it all. I mean, how can you hate LeBron?
I mean, I ain't gonna disagree. Everything he can do it all, but the thing he does the most is cry, and I can't do that. So I will say this. I'm telling you, if you go back and watch some of those games from back in then, listen, the Detroit Pistons and the Sixers and the Lakers and the Bulls and they would take your head off. I mean, Bill Laimbeer can't play dead, but he would kill somebody. But he turned out to be okay. Them Pistons were pretty good back in the day. All right, I'm gonna get Sherrod. You always get some well thought out answers with Sherrod. All right, who is it? Yeah, look, see that right there? 90s. I know where we're going right now.
I grew up. I got to watch Jordan, Pippen, Anthony Mason. He'll fight you. Charles Oakley, they'll fight you. All them. You didn't say about the Celtics being somebody that get you back in the day. Yeah. But the person I'm going to say is before all them, the Big O, Oscar Robertson.
Man, Big O, you can't play with Big O. Big O was pretty good. I mean, and listen, who can ever do what Wilt Chamberlain did? I mean, I didn't get to see him, but, man, Wilt the Stick was he could handle it all. I would say, you talked about Scottie Pippen, and so that's another debate for another day, but people talk about Pippen and Jordan. So yesterday we got in this debate. I won't say an argument. I got in this debate that Jordan wouldn't have had anything without Pippen, and that might be true. It takes a team. It ain't a one-man game. He could take over a game, but it ain't a one-man game. So the guy said, I said, Jordan's going to be Jordan whether he had Pippen or not. So he said, I want you to tell me one thing that Jordan did without Pippen's help. I said, that's easy. He was defensive MVP several times. He didn't help him on that. So, all right. So I'm going to say right now Jordan is definitely, we got one LeBron. So, all right. Who you think's the greatest NBA player ever?
Oh, sorry, but I don't know what did you talk about.
Basketball.
Yeah, in Spanish, I
All
don't know.
right. Who's the greatest soccer player ever?
The soccer? Yeah, maybe Messi. Yeah.
See, it's the same thing because he grew up with Messi, and then Pele, all the others.
Uh, Ronaldo nowadays, but they have more scores and they.
Hey, they're good. They're good. All right, now I got to get the DJ free. Let me take that camera right quick. Tell me who and why.
I gotta say MJ because for one, he was just a team player. He was able to bring that team together. You know what I mean? And championships.
So another, championships. Hey, that's really the telltale. That's what Tom Brady, all that other stuff. But what I'm gonna say about that is, LeBron has a body that can do a lot of stuff. Jordan didn't have that body. He had what Jordan did have was the desire to win. And I mean, I think like anybody you talk to talks about how hard he worked to do that. Now, as a Tar Heel fan, I'm going to say this. As a Tar Heel fan, I'm going to say that Dean Smith's the only person that ever kept Jordan under 40. But, I love watching him in college. I'll never forget that dunk against Maryland in the tournament. Like, it don't get no better. To me, right then, when he made that shot in New Orleans, his pathway in life was set. But he never stopped working, and he never stopped challenging his teammates to get better. All right, so right now, today in the barbershop, it's going to be Michael Jordan. Kobe, man. So, unfortunately, I think that Kobe left too soon for all of us. But if you ever take the time to listen, Jordan and Kobe were best friends. And at his funeral, he told a couple stories, and he says, Kobe would text him at like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I'm working on this. Tell me what you did here to get. I mean, Kobe probably he's definitely in that top. We all agree that. But what I will tell you, he was the greatest at is his craft. He worked, studied, educated himself. He didn't have to create everything. He went to the people he already seen were great, and he stole this from that person. I'm gonna do what he can do. How's he gonna do it? I mean, every person that he talked to had a good relationship with him. And Michael Jordan said he was like a little brother who was a pain in the ass, but you got to love him. So anyway, we're going to stop that. We're going to come back right after this, talk a little more basketball, and we'll be back right after this on the flip side.
G.O.A.T Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Subscribe today.
Hey, we're back here at Flip's Barbershop. Real sports talk. Had a little talk about the Super Bowl results. We also talked about a little NBA. NBA's heating up a little bit, starting to get down the stretch. It's starting to show some people who's stepping up and who are not. And again, for me, the surprise, several good teams out there. Cleveland's hanging their own. They've moved up to second place. But I'm going to jump over to college basketball, which is the season. We're right on the cusp of March Madness as they're starting to wrap up the regular seasons. They'll be getting into the conference tournaments and then the big dance. So I'm going to go through this top 20 and tell you that this year, out of most years recent, it's the most it's crazy. Nobody can stay in a spot. Somebody plays good for a few weeks and then they'll have a couple letdowns. So I'm looking at this top 20 right here, the rankings right now. The top 20, how many games should you have won in a row, you think, to be in the top 20?
Man.
You're going to be so surprised. So I want to tell you that half the teams, maybe over half, but for sure 10 of the teams are on a winning streak of 2 games or less.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm going to go through this.
I was thinking like 10.
Yeah. So there's
8,
in all of the top 20, with all of those teams, there's only 2 teams in the top 20 that have a 10-game or more winning streak. The next closest one is 8. All right, or 9. So there's 2 teams out there that have won 13 games in a row. UConn, number 1, they won 13 in a row, and I think by far they are the best team.
Okay.
UConn, they got a big man that can play. They always got guards, and they always heat up in March. UConn is the team to beat.
Okay.
They're in number one. They're riding. They're 23-2, and they're 13-0 at home for sure. But they got a 13-game winning streak. After that, Purdue, they got the big boy in the middle too, and they've won 9. So they're pretty good. We were talking earlier about the Houston Rockets, and we were talking about the Houston Cougars in college basketball. They're back.
Okay.
Houston's ranked number 3, and then from there, it just gets a little crazy. Marquette, Arizona, Kansas, UNC's dropped down. On this one, they're 7. I don't know if they dropped. I think they might have dropped again this week. Tennessee, Duke comes in on this one at 9. Iowa State, South Carolina, Baylor, Auburn, Alabama, Dayton, the Flyers, Creighton, St. Mary's, BYU, and Wisconsin.
Nice. Okay.
To me,
nice.
I think it's the weakest ACC that we've had in a long time, decades.
Really?
Yeah. So if Duke and Carolina are the 2 highest rating teams in standings,
okay,
and neither one of them are playing well or consistent at the moment, I will tell you it's going to be a long season or a short season for the big dance for the ACC, unless they get better. But I will say this, kudos to Duke. They usually start peaking about this time.
Gotcha.
And come tournament time, they're probably a well-oiled machine, and we'll see something different. But the thing that people love, what do they love about the big dance when you're filling out your bracket? What do they love the most? Bracket buster. Say it again. What was it?
What was it?
Bracket buster.
Bracket buster.
Cinderella story. So what I want to know is, who do you think the most likely Cinderella story bracket buster was going to be this year? So I'm looking at this list right here, and I'm going to tell you some people so you can get your thinking hats on to fill out your brackets here in a couple weeks. I'm going to tell you who's going to be those Cinderella bracket busters. Creighton's going to be one of them. The Blue Jays.
Y'all listening?
I'm telling you now.
Y'all listening?
I told you that the number 1 team in America is UConn. They've won 13 games in a row. There's somebody else in this list that's won 13 games in a row. Nobody even knows who they are. St. Mary's. They're pretty good, man. I watch them. St. Mary's. I watch them on late night on ESPN, and I'm telling you, they can play. So another one is on down the stretch. Nobody wants to play Florida Atlantic. Like, you don't even know who that is, but I'm telling you, nobody wants to play them.
Bracket buster.
Bracket buster, Florida Atlantic. Bracket buster, St. Mary's. Bracket buster, Creighton. And I will tell you the other thing is, this is going to be a bold statement, Sherrod. You better brace yourself. South Carolina's in this list. I think that there's a chance. The only time it may have happened before was with UConn. I think there's a chance that the South Carolina Gamecocks, men and women basketball programs, could have a chance to win both titles.
You think? What you think about that, Sherrod? He's pretty quiet over there. He's not.
Anything is possible. Now, by far, South Carolina Gamecocks women might be the best team in the country. But I will tell you that the South Carolina men's team ain't too shabby. They're playing in the SEC. They're 21-4. They're 13-1 at home, and they're playing pretty good. South Carolina is impressive to me. I definitely think the women can make it to the Final Four, and most likely should win the championship. But I am curious as the week goes on. We'll talk about more and more college basketball, about your teams, who's playing well, who's not, who's getting in, who's not getting in. Big weekend to games tomorrow in the ACC. They're all over the map. I think Duke's playing Florida State. I think the Tar Heels are playing Virginia Tech. Okay. So it is a lot on the game, a lot on these games riding to see where they're going to bracket up at. But again, we still got the end of the season coming up, and we got another Duke-Carolina game coming up, so we can give them Dookie crybabies a chance to get back at us.
Give it to them.
I mean, it's going to be at camera, so they ain't got no more excuses. It can't be the referees. It can't be all that. They need to win that game, because if not, they going to hear it. I can tell you that, especially Dennis Lee. He gonna hear it.
Yes.
I mean, because
yeah.
there's a lot of people know how much he loves them Dukies,
Yeah,
and
he like
Dennis
them
don't
Dukes.
mind. He don't mind trash talking them too. I will say this: me and him don't do that though.
Right.
So I'm not talking trash to him or anybody else. I'm just saying Duke better win that one, or it's gonna be sad. You know, they did sweep them. They already swept them on Coach K's last ride. So they need to get a little traction going in. But again, I'll say Duke typically picks up the pace at the end of the year and starts to mesh and gel a little bit as a team. So
man, shout out to my man over there in Costa Rica,
chilling
out.
Ben is chilling out on the beach right now. He is chilling out. And I'm gonna say this again. I've been all over the world in different countries. I've never been to a better country than Costa Rica. 4 times in a row, 4 years in a row. Costa Rica is the nicest nation in the world.
Yeah,
that's an award that they get.
Oh wow!
And,
wow, really,
absolutely, man.
I mean, what do you really like about?
So I'll go back to my original conversation about the One Love thing with Jamaica.
Okay.
I had never met a person in Costa Rica who wasn't super nice to everybody.
Wow.
They are glad you're there. Yeah. They want to share the beautiful stuff of their country to show it off. They have great food, beautiful people, and just a great spirit. I mean, they don't even have an army.
Wow.
I mean, think how about much money they save to not have an army.
And what's their number one sport down there? Soccer?
Man, yeah, you know it's soccer.
Yeah,
it's soccer all the way. Listen, come World Cup stuff, you'll find out it's soccer. Like they get into it, and they're pretty good.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Den got me pulling for them a little while because, you know, America's soccer, we can't get our stuff together. It just disappoints me, men and women. But so when I'm not pulling for America, I pull for Costa Rica just because Dennis is a big fan. But on top of that, man, listen, you got a Pacific Ocean on that side and an Atlantic Ocean on this side, and you can drive from one side to the other in a day if you wanted to. You got volcanoes and mountains in the north.
Yeah, he said it was a lot of active volcanoes.
Panama right below you.
Yeah.
And I went on beaches that I had the whole beach to myself.
What?
And beautiful beaches. The water's beautiful. Man, it's I will tell you, it is a great place. I have a couple friends who are purchasing some land there and building a house there. I would love that. And I will tell you, man, it's just a great place and just a country full of really super nice people.
Yeah, he was telling me, man, get your passport ready, man. You know,
man,
come
listen,
on.
I just went last summer.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be back down there now, but I tried to get Den to let me go with him, but when I saw that picture of him on the plane with his girl, then I knew I was out.
It was a wrap.
I was out. Done.
Yeah.
So safe travels to Dennis. He'll be back here with us next week, and we'll talk some more basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Spring season baseball's coming up right now here shortly, and we'll be talking about that. And one more, I know that everybody ain't into this, but you know, if you get in the winter, you got to find something to watch on TV, and you might want to gamble or bet on something. NASCAR is cranking up at Daytona this week in Florida. Was going to try to get Bubba Wallace on here, do an interview with him. We'll try to do that next week or line it up. But it'll be a big day for NASCAR to start opening.
Come on, Bubba Wallace. Come on. Yeah.
Hey, yep. I want to hear it. He runs good on those big tracks. And, you know, Michael Jordan is a car owner.
Oh.
Yep. Michael Jordan is a car owner. Another Tar Heel great, played for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Okay.
Brad Daugherty, he is a car owner.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of big names in those car owners, and
I think a lot of them live over there by Lake Norman, ain't
it? Yeah. They live on Lake Norman.
We take that tour down Lake Norman on
Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, all of them, Dale Jr. They all live around Mooresville. That is probably the mecca of NASCAR, where all the shops are, all that stuff. But they're teeing it up this week on the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to give you an early nugget here. Don't waste your time waiting around for it on Sunday, because it's going to get rained out, and they'll be racing on Monday. So if you want to watch that, I'm telling you now that race was going to be rained out. That's Danny Hips telling you first.
Come on.
I'm more accurate than pretty weather girls.
Y'all heard it first.
The Daytona will be canceled, moved till Monday. But we'll try to get Bubba Wallace on here in the next couple of weeks and get some stuff from him. Right after Daytona, they head west and go out that way and hit the West Coast early. But it's
Nice.
grand opening for them. But again, the college basketball's out there, men and women's. You can find it any night on TV, and the NBA starting to heat up, and we'll see who's what. With
Nice.
that, we'll close it out for us here, and just appreciate everybody tuning in. Let us know your thoughts. Give us some feedback. As always, we appreciate all the great sponsors that we have here at Flip's Barbershop. And they support us. And if you're interested in being one of our sponsors, reach out to us. We can hook you up and get you connected to the program.
And I'm gonna sound like those guys online. Just hit that like and subscribe button.
Yeah,
you
gotta
know,
hit that
YouTube.
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And subscribe. Definitely. We need subscribe. We got a
Yeah.
lot. We're getting, crazy views now.
That's
I gotta
good.
show you the stats now. We're up to like
women are better at hitting that like and subscribing. Us men, we
Yeah.
just look at it and laugh and forget to do it. You
Well,
got to hit the buttons.
yeah, well, we're getting some traction
That's
now.
good.
So we it's a lot of
good.
people out there checking us out. Maybe we just gotta remind them.
Yep.
But hit that like and subscribe button so you can hear,
Yep.
what
I'm
we're
in.
doing.
I'm in.
And,
Appreciate Flip and all the barbers here who always are fun to engage and interact with us and what they do. Need a good haircut, this is the place to go. And I will tell you, it's a lot of stuff in here going on, and it's always fun. So other than that, I hope you have a blessed week. Be safe. And again, continued prayers for the folks in Kansas City. With that, we'll end it there, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Flip's Barbershop Sports Talk, streaming live every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Subscribe today.